Um, the way that this company went about uh, articulating their bid prices was all with data and analytics. So what they ended up doing was that they ended up taking a bunch of data that they already had, historical transactions, market pricing, et cetera, that they were actually tracking and trending and things like that. And then they brought it all together in custom views and reports to actually be very precise in what their range of bid prices would be. And the net result for this manufacturing company, which was probably they were doing about $30 million in gross revenue, about 100 people, so right in the sweet spot of the small medium sized businesses. And what they ended up seeing is that their articulation of proper bid pricing drove down their cost of materials upwards of 30%. And not only were they successful in driving their costs down, they were also beating out their competitors in just magically coming up with this pricing or the bid pricing that would make them the winners. So this is just a real life story that I thought I would share because it was a real eye opener for me. This was almost 10 years ago, where the advent of sort of analytics and things like that were just coming to light. We're a lot further than that, in 2020 right now. But that's when I got first introduced to business intelligence and analytics and the power of trending and data analysis and things like that. And like you mentioned, I've been very passionate about that ever since. So with that story as a segue, what I want to emphasize is that for a small to medium sized business, it's not just about succeeding, but to compete with their you know colleagues in the marketplace or what have you and win. There is no option but to utilize data. But to your point earlier, there could be too much data. And that is the part that a lot of people don't understand in the small to medium sized space, that it's more than often what they actually think is that they don't have enough data. But the truth of the matter is they have a lot of data. It's just untapped or unrealized data, right? So the contrary is true. Most businesses that are operational, whether it's small, medium sized, large, they actually have too much data. And so that in a way is good news, because I mean, it's not that you're lacking data. What you have to do is take that data, consume that data intelligently, and make your decisions accordingly, so that your business makes more brilliant decisions rather than not so good decisions, right? That's what we are really driving towards nowadays. And so, not to plug our product too much or whatever, but if you look at one of our products, which is analysis, um, what it does is exactly that. It parses through multiple data sources across many, many sources, whether it's Excel spreadsheets or databases or what have you. We've got connectors that will, really surprise a lot of people. And these connectors are able to bring in the raw data and present it in very, very articulate reports and dashboards that empower decision makers to make those good decisions on a continuous basis. And it's not been an easy ride the last 2 3 months for any business. I'll tell you, if we're coming out of this, and I know we're coming out of this successfully. Sooner or later we will be stronger and we will do well again as a global community. We have to leverage data, because what data does is it turns feelings into facts. And when you make factual decisions, you're going to win a lot better. So again, just a little bit more on this point. I know I've taken a few minutes. I think it's important for small to medium sized businesses to understand the importance of data. If you have run your business so far along the years with experienced individuals that kind of just know the business, it's time to validate that knowledge. It's time to ensure that what you think is the way forward is the way forward. Indeed, that is correct. You need to validate it with data. So that old proverb of trust but verify is very important. And more importantly, go and dig for more data that is available to you. There, don't just rely on what you've known for many years. Find new data points and do what you need to do with that data to make better decisions. It's the only way that we are going to become resilient, and we're going to succeed post post pandemic times. So I'm going to stop there, Armano, because I've taken a lot of time, but as you can tell, this is an important topic for me, and especially for our solution set. I think this is one of the major ways that Genial Cloud actually differentiates itself with so many other products, with our BI capabilities, and especially when you bolt on the AI that you referenced earlier, and our automation platform for processes, where we can take CRM and ERPs and just kind of make it seamless. We're really we've got something amazing over here. So I'm passionate.
I found very interesting what you touch, Aziz, as mentioned that the data are everywhere. And we all know that data are really everywhere because people keeps a lot of very important data even in their Excel spreadsheet. And as I was mentioning, we have seen so many people, going into meetings and not really having updated information, or because the various Excel file. So how you deal with all these various sources? Because you mentioned that data are also now into Facebook, into Twitter. I mean, there are a lot of not just the usual structured data approach, but I mean there are a lot of how you deal with this. I mean, this is very interesting because if it's complicated and will bring in again the IT people, this is probably what scares user. But I think you figure out in some way something different. That's what I heard from your words.
Absolutely, yeah. So think of it again. I'm going to try and use an analogy over here. Think of it like this. Let's say I gave you a lead box and it's full of gold, and I didn't give you the keys. I just said that this is a box. It's made of lead, so it's very strong and it's full of gold. If you can open it, the gold is yours, and if you can't, then that's too bad. So you'll try very hard, and what I'm referencing here is the data is the gold, and all these separate data sources is that lead box, meaning it's very difficult to extract that data and consume it in its raw form. So what that typically translates to is businesses just don't go through the exercise, whether it's through Excel spreadsheets or database sources. They don't put in the required effort that's required to actually extract and consume the data. This is where it gets exciting with our product. What we help to do is we extract the data and we make it very easy to consume. It's easy for people to actually start using our products very, very quickly. There isn't a whole lot of training that's required, and even for what is required, we've got folks like Anurag, who's on the call, that are ready and willing with their the thinking hat on, to get people going just as quickly as possible. What is fantastic, and I've seen it time and again, is people just, when they start using this product that we have, they actually become their own support mechanism. They end up just keeping on and on with dealing with more and more data, because what we allow is, it's almost like an abstraction layer, right? So we take away the noise, we take away the unnecessary, and we present to you exactly what you're looking for. Those decisions that you need to make on data, that's what's given to you. So going back to the connectors, we've got it for all sorts of database products. We've got it for Excel. And you know what, if you've got something that is very, very obscure, we'd love to talk to you, because we'd be surprised if we don't have a connector for you, because it's a very, very broad set of capabilities that we have. So again, just to reference back to your question, that what do I mean by consuming this data and so many data sources that are available to us? I just simply mean that we need to extract and consume. So I can't there, and we're actually making use of it. So that's where I was trying to go with that, Armano.
It makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Very, very interesting, Aziz. And I think at this point I want to move next because what you mentioned was really the ability to give the user, I mean, the power to do what they need to achieve. I mean, the goal that they need to achieve, and so on and so forth. And this also will help me to get to the next.
Sure. Armando, thank you very much again for this opportunity. It's great to be here. So, just to add to the question that you asked, to add some sales aspects of business intelligence here, BI today is it's an inevitable piece of technology for business functions like sales and marketing, where it's all about data and data sources. For example, let's take sales campaigning or a business development activity, for instance. There are a lot of data points that contributes to measuring these sales campaigns or business development activities for a business. So just like how marketing campaigns are measured using business intelligence solutions like email automation tools, campaign management solutions, or social media campaigning, it is also important for sales professionals to have the required insights into their data and sales efforts. So by data here, I mean a few things. It could be prospecting data, or it could be campaign performance data. It could also be a sales team performance data. BI in all of these cases, it helps in understanding the results of sales efforts, especially helping sales organizations and understanding how the team is performing, their team data to gain insights into their performance to make very intelligent, data-driven strategic sales decisions. I cannot stress this much. When teams are working from home, like all of us here right now, we're in different sites, and data is created from different points or sources. It is BI that brings in these data sets or sources together to make a complete sense to all the efforts through reporting. For example, our solution, Gmail Cloud Analysis, it's a perfect example. It's extensively used by our team to gain insights into our sales data and sales activity and even the team performance. Understanding data related to prospecting or sales campaign performance, it helps our sales leaders to know what strategies we should adopt, even post this COVID-19 pandemic situation, to improve our sales and revenues. For example, sales a lot in terms of visualizing and reporting these surveys to gain insights into a prospect or our customers' journey, whether it's out of spreadsheets or it could be other complicated databases that needs attention. Again, data relating to sales stages, opportunity pipeline, I mean, connection rate with prospects, sales appointments set up by our business development team. All of this are various sources that can be used to build and build customized dashboards and reports for our sales team and for our management. These can be regulated, and it is possible to provide only the required access that of specific individual needs to make the decisions and have that kind of visibility and the need for decision making processes. Post this pandemic situation, businesses would need enough sales data to redefine their sales goals. I mean, BI solutions using their precious data mines, as he's mentioned, helps businesses in facilitating strategic decisions using the collected data during this time to make sensible sales decisions in future. And also, BI for sales allows easy sharing of data sets in visual forms that can really provide the team with the required insights to create both inbound and outbound sales tactics and strategies. So finally, it is also important to understand that BI technology, it contributes a lot to the sales force retention. That is the process of keeping our valuable sales resources to ourselves. The importance of providing our salespeople with insights to their data and their sales performance, and also with the sales campaigns that they are part of in general, to understand where they stand at that given time. Are they doing good? Are they doing bad? And it's critical to provide the team with enough confidence that their data is not missed out, their sales efforts are being counted and measured, and the strategic decisions are being made according to how their data is performing. So this can provide a lot of visibility to your sales force or to any business. And as informed team can always be retained and improved better than an uninformed team. So in short, BI through data plays a big role in facilitating a lot of sales related activities, and they're extremely critical for any businesses, whether it's between the pandemic that we're going through right now or even post that. It's important to have that kind of access to your data. And yeah, that is in short what I have to say. Sorry, it might have taken some
No,
time here,
no,
but
no, it's fine. It's very interesting. So, going back to the point and that you touch, I think I would love to connect what Aziz just mentioned before. So, the ability to have this kind of pervasive BI with a sales and marketing team. So, how you see the sales and marketing team really benefits from which kind of analytics? I mean, do you think it's more important for a sales and marketing team to realize? I don't know, will be sales analysis, market analysis, and what type of ability you would love to see in a product. I don't know, will be easy, should be able to export. What are the really the kind of your nice to have that you would love to see in a product, and then we will dig with the Anurag if we can solve it.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So just to give my idea about analytics between sales and marketing, I feel it's a huge piece. It's one big piece, but just sliced into two. At the end of the day, both these functionalities, they're interlinked. They work together in getting that whole buying experience or the sales experience to that particular prospect or the customer. So the basic analytics here that we are looking at in terms of, especially with sales, is having insights to their prospects. I mean, what activities are our prospects into, and what kind of prospects have we segregated so that we can target separately. All these contributes to data, and these data is constantly being consumed by the sales team on a daily basis. They would have their databases that they use, or places where they update their activities, their revenues. So like I said, it could be anything starting from an Excel to a CRM solution where you can capture this data and turn it into intelligent sales decisions that would definitely help the team in future.
Clearly. Okay, no, thanks. Make a lot of sense. And, this also connect me with the next guest that we have, Anurag, because, I think what, Shri was mentioning, it's also the experience for user, right? So what really a user can experience and what they can gain and benefits from, a BI and AI tools. And then in the second round, probably I will have a short question more to clarify what's AI, what's BI, what's the difference. I mean, just feel free to go and then we will dig more into the solution. I mean, being a sales engineer, so someone that have technical knowledge and it's also involved a lot with the customer, Anurag, my question to you is like, so what are really the needs and the biggest challenge that you have seen customer are having or will have or are facing to understand the data, and especially in the adoption of business intelligence and artificial intelligence. I mean, if you can describe the experience. I know that you are very close with our manufacturing customer, because predictive maintenance, it's a big point right now. And there was a beautiful meeting that I was involved with APMA, one of the most important manufacturer association in Ontario last week, where there was a lot of discussion about the ability to remote monitoring plans to have this data. And I think predictive maintenance is one of the ability to now be sure that if you don't have all your people at work, you need to gain with the data that you can gain from machines. I mean, but that's just one little example that probably you can give us about what is the experience and what are the challenges that customer face when they want to implement a BI AI solution in general, like ours probably. And just how, if you can describe a little bit of our solution after.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Romano. So, um, I'll start with like the customer that we are working with. Is one of the biggest chocolate manufacturers in the world, operating out of Canada, and we have seen them grow when they started giving importance to their data, especially their manufacturing data. They started with normal analysis, looking at graphs, reports, dashboards, but now they have moved to the next level. That's for the predictive maintenance. And this is where I want to introduce our viewers with the concept of Industry 4.0. I believe everybody is well versed with it, but no one can escape the Industry 4.0 concept. It's a term that references the application of digital technologies in the industrial production chain. And this is because nowadays industrial processes demand high connectivity between all of their processes. The customer that we were working with, they didn't have advanced machinery with sensors included as part of the machine. But yes, they went into sensor manufacturers, wanted the sensors to be linked to their machinery, and from there they want to extract data and want to use that data so that they can do predictive maintenance of their plant. With that, they get they have better productivity, they know the downtime, and based on that they can use their floor workforce. Recently, their plant was shut down, and just because they had uh, their workforce was enabled with all the data, now they are when they come back on the floor, even with the 50% workforce that is being allowed, they are much better worse than their competition, just because they moved into the concept of using the data to their benefit. So besides digital native organization and a few early adopters, most companies are lagging behind in terms of exploiting the potential value of their business data. And this is where when I meet them personally, I make them feel that how the data is being uh, lying in on your computer on different machines, and it's not a holistic view for the executives or even for the mid senior management. So, and lacking senior management involvement and the appropriate organization structure to aid the use of data and analytics are few of the major barriers that hindered value creation. In addition, I'll say the inability to outgrow legacy IT infra and data privacy obstruct this data aggregation activity that I believe all the industries should be looking forward to. A considerable percentage of organizations within the traditional manufacturing industry perceive analytics as a complex and costly undertaking whose results outweigh the potential gains. So, very few organizations perceive the cost outweighs the projected benefits. And the same line, it is found that the need for analytics is higher than the current investment, and that is a result of analytics not being part of industrial digital strategy till now. The path to extracting profitable insights from data, I'll say it's difficult. But since quantitative technologies investment need to be accompanied by cultural change within the organization and its approach towards data. Fortunately, small business or SMBs that we relate to, they are capable of cleaning this up early in their career on by making analytics a part of their company culture. It gets difficult once you grow and become big because anyways you have to start from the bottom. So profitable businesses insights are the result of enterprise approaches towards business analytics, in which quantitative techniques are utilized to improve all business function concurrently. When I go back to the customers who are using our product on analysis or for predictive maintenance, we can see the difference. We can see that they want more. Now they don't come back to us with technical problems. They come back to us because they are not able to create more dashboards or reports, and they want our help because the holistic view that they're looking for, they have understood that that's the way to move ahead. So, looking at the challenges, especially from the manufacturing industry where we have the majority experience, I'll consider the adoption of business analytics and business intelligence in manufacturing. I'll put them into three contexts. One being the environmental context, where the regulations on data privacy and cybersecurity come into picture, and where we have the cloud option, hybrid cloud, private cloud, which gives the better security, or even if for the fact that you want to keep the data on premise and just keep the application on the cloud so that your data is safe. That's where we can remove this environmental context. The technological context being the second that I would categorize the adoption problems. This being the technology readiness and the characteristics. We've seen that with the example that I gave with the manufacturer, where their machinery was not ready because they had no inbuilt sensors. But at the same time, they got through one of the sensor provider and got the required sensor which will work with their machinery. And with our business intelligence product, cloud orchestration platform of Power, they could extract all the data, make that raw data into intelligent information, and from there they can use the business analytics to do the predictive maintenance and see how their manufacturing machinery is performing. And based on that, it's directly linked to their sales functions, because the more they manufacture, the better the sales can perform. And with that insight, even the sales pipeline can be built in a way which helps the organization. The third point, last but not the least, which is a hindrance, is the organizational context. And this is where I touched upon calling the firm's culture, the financial resources that the company has, and how much they can spend. For small businesses, application like solutions provided by Avantune related to business intelligence, business analytics, cloud orchestration, document collaboration, workflows. These works for small and medium businesses because the investment is not much. And if they choose the cloud option, they can move to a per day or a monthly billing option. So, executive involvement, business and technical competitiveness. So, these are one of the few other factors which hinder. And Industry 4.0, I'll say it will be impossible without these smart sensors, the smart machines, and the smart devices that we have started using on the manufacturing floor. And maybe the devices that we use in a daily life at our home. We have smart bulbs, and every performance can be captured because we don't see, but data is everywhere. Everything is data. Until the time we make sense out of it, it's just raw information that is lying for us. So the operation focuses uh, on providing machines with the ability to see, detect, and communicate smartly. So this aspect is characterized by the supervision of production systems and allows for detection of failures or errors, as I mentioned, turning processes more efficient and profitable, not just for manufacturing, but also for the executives, and at the same time for the sales and marketing functions. Um, how will BI managers and they can make a difference working with the customers? I'll say loading up with key features, like just enough. That's the thin line between usability and complexity. So you have to provide the client with what is expected and what is required, and not just everything that is there with your product. simplification of the product, which provides self-service options on the platform so that it makes it easy to adapt and use. Our products, we are so proud of our products when we introduce it to our customers, and even when they come back to us upon on the training needs, we have a default training procedure of 2 days maximum for all the products, and we are very proud of it because that's the ease that we give to the customers when we sell our products or when we send our solutions to them, that within a day or two we are capable of giving the customer our solution and the usability of self-service, that they are able to adapt and start using the product to their strength. So because the software has to be flexible as per the client needs, and we have seen in the past that flexibility issues are a major cause for software replacement. So I don't want my customer to move to my competition, and I want them to use my product to their own benefit. And that's why we have made our product so flexible, so easy to use, and the self-service platform makes it even easier. On the other side, the industry point of view, they have to look to improve the data governance. They have to work on ways to improve the data quality, and solutions as provided by Avantune, they give the more context and more strength to the organization. And from our side, last but not the least, focus on support that is expected pre and post implementation to create that customer success and unforgettable customer experience. Because eventually, the manual intervention will come in when you have to take the next step, and Industry 4.0 is the next step moving ahead. That's what I want to say, Hermano.
No, it's very interesting, Anurag. Well, I think that this connection between data, Industry 4.0, IoT, and so on, it's really the key. And I will leave this for the next question to Aziz, if you don't mind, because I have something that I want to ask him at the end. But I think that what you mentioned, the ability to have a customer ready to roll in few days was also approved, or I think one of the other aspect that I believe it's a big strength at Avantune, which is the usability and the self-service, so the ability to really use our platform in a very fast implementation that at the end means also ROI. So because as soon as you can use the software and you can start taking more informed and better decision, I mean that's what we want to tell the customer. But I want to dig a little bit more with you, if you don't mind, before I move to the next question with Aziz. And I would love really you to describe a little bit, our analytics tool, Genia Cloud Analytics, how it works, and also if you can mention what is BI and what is AI into Genia Cloud Analysis. Just briefly, I mean, just describe a little bit the application. What are the key features in your opinion, the key UI experience, and so on.
Yeah,
Briefly.
sure, man. So the first thing is to connecting to the database or to the data source. So as mentioned earlier, the proxy connections that our solution provide, they help our clients to access any kind of data source, be it an Excel or an SQL connector, or be it their Facebook, or coming from their CRM tools. So first thing is connecting to the data source, and then with the reports and the dashboards that we have built in, and with the customers can create very easily just by drag and drop, makes it such easy and friendly for the customer. And you're looking at dashboards for an executive view, as you can see on the screen right now. So you can see that the the view that executive want will be a different from a view that a manufacturing floor agent would want, or a different from a sales leader that would want. But yes, our product with just a drag and drop options, as you see, with creating charts, graphs, pies from multiple data source, makes it just very easy for anybody and anyone to use it. So you don't need a special IT team to provide the charts and to provide any other insights on the data. When you build this holistic view, so you see bar graphs coming from from one data source, whereas you see a pie chart coming from a different data source, and the ability to click and go deeper into the data right from the dashboard view, and not just going back to your data source and looking at multiple columns and rows, which gets very boring at a point of time and difficult to understand as well. So irrespective of the size of data or the data source, this makes it easy for anybody to use it. So this is one of the things where we talk about views and dashboards to look at it. This is where business intelligence comes into picture. Looking at the artificial intelligence of view. As an example that I gave, looking building the algorithms using different coding language like R and Python, we can definitely build those algorithms for specific customers where they can look at we can look at the past data, and based on that, the AI feature of our business intelligence product, Gina Cloud Analysis, can make you look at the future predictiveness and see how, based on the data that you've carried down, how you can perform better in the future, or how the company will perform better. Just one example, if you look at one machinery, look comparing two machines, for example, a network device or a compute device. We all know that network devices have more life than a compute device. Looking at the technology change, and that's where our products come into picture. Looking at the insights, which product will go bad when, and giving them in advance, letting them know what's happening. The global view where you have multiple plants going on, so you can look at every plant, what's wrong at that particular location, going at very specific company floor charts, looking at one particular machinery and seeing what's going wrong. So, executive sitting anywhere, just having a browser access, can look at the holistic view of his organization, his manufacturing floor in different places, maybe his supply chain, how it's operating, where the issue are arising, where he has to give more importance, and where exactly he's benefiting out, and that's why he can take those intelligence business decisions based on the data.
Totally. Very interesting. So let's say if I should summarize in a very simple way that, the BI part of Gina Cloud Analysis is the part that lets you to investigate, the past and understand a little bit of the history so that you can figure out trends. But the most interesting part is also the ability to provide this intelligent algorithm of AI that will look into the future. So it's not just like any other traditional BI product that will just look at the history and series and all that kind of stuff, which is very interesting. But the best part is the prediction, right? In the predictive maintenance, you want to know exactly what is the machine that potentially is going to fail, or if you want to investigate what is the future of revenue, you want to understand what is the best market that you have to focus geographically to understand better. This is really where AI will make the difference. And this brings me to summarize, our life for today. That, by the way, thank you guys. Was very interesting. Little trouble, so sorry if we start a little bit late today. If there are questions, we will accept as usually your question. If there are questions online, type in the chat and we will respond live. But I would love to summarize with you, Aziz, because I think what I gather from this session is that really the purpose is BI now. It's much more than before. An amazing tools and something that is really needed for business to be more successful. So I would say that the ability to move and transition from just understanding that there is a benefits on having operational data to the next stage that is really how to leverage all this big amount of data. So, and especially with the advent of artificial intelligence, machine learning, I think we are going to see really an amazing times ahead of us, especially for business decision makers, for people that need to take decision, especially in the post-emergency phases, because right now there is people that sad to say, but someone will need to take decision about cost cutting or something like that, and they need to take informed decision. So how you see that development in the short term and even in the medium term, for AI, BI adoption in, generally in the business, and how this element can be an element of success in the post-emergency phase after COVID-19?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Hermano. And you I don't know where to start, but let me take a shot at it, because it as you can understand by asking that question, it's a very wide question, and it depends, what industry you're in, what type of situation you're in, how much you've been affected by the current pandemic, and so on and so forth. But here's one commonality that exists with the entire globe right now, which is uncertainty, right? The word uncertainty has never been more prominent than it is today, right? We really, nobody really knows what the future holds. because nobody has experienced anything like this. So I think you know where I'm going with this, because when you have uncertainty, what you need are facts. What you need is a strong basis of understanding what reality is. You need to understand your past, and you need to be able to predict the future based on those fundamental good understanding of those facts. So any business, I don't care if you are a Fortune 50 multinational, or you are a five-person company that's operating a sandwich shop. Every business has to rely on some form of data. Of course, the level of sophistication is going to be widely and vastly different, but the adoption is what I'd like to talk about. There's many things about data consumption that we can discuss, but what I'd like to talk about is the adoption of consuming data. Now is the time to do it, folks. This is the moment where you need to rely on all your data sources, and we've all talked about it in various different ways and varying different levels of details. But this is the time that you need to consume your data properly. And what I mean by properly is that you need to find the data that's relevant to the decisions that you're making. You need to make the data timely. So, data that comes to you about a decision that you need to make today, if it comes to you tomorrow or next week, is useless to you. So, you need to make sure that it's timely. And most importantly, let's not forget we're all human, and we have a propensity to do things that are easier rather than things that are more difficult. This is just the reality. We might not want to admit it, or we might not like hearing it. So you need solutions that make it easy for you to consume that data. So with that, here's what I'll tell you. I've got products for you. I've got solutions that these products create that will get you up and running, like Anurag said, in a couple of days. It's not going to cost you a whole heck of a lot. In fact, if you have the discussions with us, you will be blown away with how little of a commitment that you need to make just to get started, and start to use these products. And thirdly, the speed at which we can execute your data consumption is ours, right? So we will find the data that you have. We can suggest. We don't want to claim that we will create the data for you, because that's not what we do. We are not creators of the data. We are consumers of the data, just like you are, and we wrap it in a package so that it becomes easy for you to ingest that data and do what you need to do. And then, of course, we've talked about artificial intelligence, we've talked about automation. These are all things that are available to you. Now, let's be realistic. Most of the customers out there will probably not have that level of sophistication just yet. But you know what? 3 months, 6 months down the road, you'll be calling us once you've started adopting our solutions in a basic way to introduce AI, to introduce automation. And that's what we've seen over and over. And that's what's so encouraging about this. And that's how I know, and I have firm belief that any company that will deal with the uncertainty, that will deal with this really unknown future and get over this and be resilient and go back to normalcy, will use data. And we're here to help. We are a medium-sized company ourselves. We have been affected by this pandemic. We believe we have been very resilient through this, and we've done it using our products and using the data that we have. And we're happy to pass it along, and we're happy to empower people with what we've enjoyed so far. So, Armando, those are my comments there. Yeah.
No, no, thank you, Aziz. And I think I want to mention and repeat again something that you mentioned in the last live that we had the last week, and and clearly, we are here to keep going this series. So the next week we will have another episode where we are going to discuss other important topics. But I think that you mentioned about the COVID-19 that affect a lot of businesses. And
Yeah.
we at Avantune, so let me call me in this time, but you had a great idea, and I would love you to mention again that
Yes.
idea, because people can just benefits from
Yes.
our, I
I'd
don't know
love
even how
to.
to call it. I mean, support that we are going
No,
to.
Armando. It's just a campaign, and we are calling it the Pay It Forward campaign. What that means is that, look, we are a strong company that's surviving through this because of our customers, and we want to help more customers. We're here to help. We've gone through. Uh, we've gone through an amazing period. It's been a tough walk, as Shri calls it, but we're still walking, and we are confident that we're going to run soon, and we want to help people along with this, right? Avantune is a company that does not believe in just selling for the sake of selling. We like to create solutions. When you hired me, Hermano, you had told me that provide solutions. Don't bother going and selling anything. And so, what we want to create is a solution for people, for companies that have been hurt by COVID-19, and we want to create a technology solution for them, and we want them to use our products for absolutely free for 12 months from the time that they sign up. If you have been affected by this pandemic and you need to adopt technology, you need to consume BI, you need to automate, you need to introduce a CRM, you need to introduce some type of collaboration tool, give us a call. Again, this is a very genuine effort to help our fellow medium-sized small businesses and get them going with the technology that they need. So the campaign, call it Pay It Forward, call it uh, the post COVID-19. I just don't like even talking about COVID-19 anymore. I just want to move forward, and I'm enthusiastic about doing exactly that. So let's call it the Pay It Forward campaign, and we've launched it. It's already live. It has been live for a couple of days, and we're seeing amazing discussions coming out of it. So you know,
So
we're here
people
to
can
help.
access this solution without having to pay anything if they were affected. But
Correct, correct. We will give our solutions. Look, I would be here for hours talking about some of the parameters that are involved and things like that. So, uh, bottom line is, yes, it's available. The COVID-19 pandemic in an adverse manner, and they happen to be a small to medium-sized business, and they're looking to leverage technology to make their next chapter successful. We're here to help. That's what it is. We've got We've got a landing page up and running that calls out exactly what we're trying to do, what you need to do to qualify, and of course, if you don't want to go through the landing page, just connect with us through social, through email, give us a call, and we'll bring you up to speed very, very quickly on that.
thank you, Ziz.
Yeah,
So we had a great session today, and we started a little late, but I think we almost finished in time. So I really want to say thank you again to Aziz for having been with us. Shri, thank you for being with us as well. Anurag, thank you
Pleasure
for
again.
being with us. And I also, as usual, want to give an appointment to all our guests and all the viewers for the next week, because the next week we will have another interesting session where we will keep going discussing topics that will be related to mainly what we do at Avantune. I think today was one of the key elements that we care at Avantune, which is AI and BI. I think that I cannot stress enough what Aziz so well said, and what Sri mentioned, and what Anurag was presenting, the way that our customer are benefits from those kind of solution. But I think especially right now with the market that we are going to see, with the needs for more speed and more productivity, and the ability to do things in a more fast way, I think the ability to take more informed and better decision is the key. So if you really want to find something that will help you to succeed in the post-emergency phase, it's a tool that will help you really to run your business. That's the reality. And AI is here to help you to run your business for the future. So let's see you in 2 weeks for our next session. Thanks everyone, and have a good day. Bye bye.
Genial Cloud, a smart business orchestration platform, makes working outside of a traditional office environment easy and flexible. Genial Cloud allows users to work from the cloud on any device without having to install any software. Users have access to applications that enable complete employee management, accounting, and approval processes via workflow and email. Genial Cloud offers web-enabled collaboration tools, document creation without Office, online scanning, and document sharing, online management of time and attendance, travel and expenses, accounting, sales, finance, and purchasing. Includes powerful data analytics to forecast sales results, project health metrics, track KPIs, and much more. Try Genial Cloud now to easily enable smart working for your company.